I'm 3 months pregnant, Dustin, but it's not yours. I dropped my coffee mug. The ceramic shattered against the kitchen floor, brown liquid spreading like blood across the white tiles, but I couldn't move. My wife, Amber, stood by the window, her back to me, hands trembling against the glass. The morning light made her look like a stranger. "What did you just say?" My voice didn't sound like mine. It was hollow, distant, like I was listening to someone else speak. She turned slowly, and I saw tears streaming down her face. "The baby? It's Mr. Caldwell's, my boss." The world tilted. I grabbed the counter to steady myself, my knees threatening to buckle. "You're joking. Tell me you're joking, Amber." "I did it for us, Dustin, for our family." Her voice cracked. "He was going to fire me. We can't survive on just unemployment. We were drowning." "My name is Dustin Crawford, and let me tell you something. There are moments in life that split your existence into before and after. This was mine. The woman I'd loved for 6 years, the woman I'd promised to protect and cherish, was carrying another man's child. And somehow, she expected me to understand. You want to know what it's like being an oil rig supervisor? You live by rules, safety protocols, chain of command. Every decision could mean life or death for your crew. When that blowout happened 8 months ago, when that pipe burst and sent me flying into the derrick supports, I thought I was lucky to walk away alive. Turns out, that back injury was just the beginning of my problems. Workers' comp dragged their feet. Lawyers spoke in circles. Meanwhile, the bills piled up like debris after a hurricane. $82,000 for surgery, physical therapy, medication. The number haunted me every night while I watched Amber sleep, peaceful and trusting, not knowing her husband was drowning in debt. "So you slept with him?" The words tasted like acid. "You slept with your boss?" "He asked me," she whispered, wrapping her arms around herself. "He and his wife have been trying for years to have a baby. The doctor said she can't carry to term. He said if I did this, just this one thing, he'd triple my salary, cover all our debts, set us up for life." I laughed. "God help me," I laughed. A cold, bitter sound that made her flinch like I'd struck her. "And you didn't think to ask your husband first? You didn't think to, maybe, I don't know, discuss this insane idea before you let another man? We were 3 months behind on rent." Her voice rose, desperate. "The electricity was getting cut off next week. Your back surgery bills were piling up. What was I supposed to do, Dustin? Watch us lose everything?" That's when it hit me. She'd been carrying this weight alone, just like I'd been carrying mine. 2 people drowning separately in the same sinking ship, too proud to admit we needed help, too scared to trust each other with the truth. But there's a difference. Between hiding debt and sleeping with your boss for money, there's a line, and she'd crossed it without even telling me the line existed. Something inside me snapped. I grabbed my jacket from the chair, my movements sharp and mechanical. "Where are you going?" Panic flooded her voice. "I don't know. Anywhere but here." I headed for the door, my vision blurring at the edges. "Dustin, please." I stopped, my hand on the doorknob. For a moment, I almost turned around. Almost. But then she spoke again, and her words froze me in place. "He already paid off our car loan and the hospital bill from your surgery, the full $82,000. My hand clenched on the doorknob so hard I thought it might break. She'd known. Known about the debt I'd been hiding, known about the shame eating me alive every single day. And instead of coming to me, instead of trusting me to find another way, she'd sold herself to fix it. I opened the door and walked out without looking back. Behind me, I heard her collapse, her sobs echoing through the apartment like the sound of something breaking that could never be fixed. But I kept walking because if I turned around, if I saw her face one more time, I didn't know what I'd do. The morning air hit me like a slap. Our neighborhood in Pasadena, the small apartment complex we'd moved into after the wedding, with its cracked parking lot and flickering streetlights, suddenly felt like a prison. Mrs. Rodriguez was watering her plants on the second-floor balcony. She waved at me like nothing had changed, like my world hadn't just exploded in our kitchen. I didn't wave back. My phone was already buzzing in my pocket. Amber. I silenced it and kept walking. You know what they don't tell you about losing everything? It's not the big moment that breaks you. It's the little things. The way your work boots feel too light without the steel toes you can't afford to replace. The way you automatically reach for your wallet to tip the waitress, then remember it's empty. The way your wife looks at you like you're a stranger when she thinks you're not watching. I'd been that stranger for months. The man who used to bring home $65,000 a year, who could fix anything with his hands, who made his wife feel safe and provided for. Now, I was just another unemployed roughneck with a bad back and worse prospects. But this was something else entirely. This wasn't just losing my job or my health or my pride. This was losing my wife to another man, and having her tell me it was for my own good. I walked for hours through the industrial maze of Southeast Houston, past chemical plants and refineries that had been my world for 12 years. The smell of crude oil and sulfur hung in the air like memories I couldn't shake. 3 days. That's how long I'd been crashing on Trent's couch, surrounded by empty Lone Star bottles and the smell of failure. My phone showed 47 missed calls from Amber. I'd listened to exactly none of them. "You can't run forever, man," Trent said, tossing me another beer from his refrigerator. He was my oldest friend, had been my best man at the wedding. We'd worked the same rigs for 8 years, watched each other's backs through blowouts and storms that would make most men pray for dry land. Now, he was watching me fall apart in his living room, like every other oil worker who had lost everything when the boom went bust. "Watch me." I twisted the cap off and took a long drink, letting the bitter taste wash away the bitter thoughts. It didn't work. Trent sat down in the recliner across from me, his expression serious. We'd had this conversation before, back when the Deepwater Horizon disaster made everyone think twice about offshore work. Different crisis, same look in his eyes. "You going to tell me what happened, or are we just going to drink until you pass out again?" "She cheated on me." The words felt strange in my mouth, clinical, like I was talking about someone else's wife, someone else's life falling apart. "Yeah, I got that part from your drunk rambling last night, but there's more to it, isn't there? Amber's not the type to just... She got pregnant for her boss." I cut him off deliberately, watching his face change. He paid her to carry his child because his wife can't have kids, and she said yes without telling me. Trent's face went pale. He set down his beer, ran a hand through his hair. "Jesus, Dustin." "Yeah." I stared at the ceiling, at the water stain that looked like a hand reaching down, like someone drowning, calling for help that would never come. "She said she did it for us, for our family, because we were broke and drowning, and she thought..." My voice cracked. I took another drink. The thing is, she wasn't wrong about the money. After I lost my supervisor job on the rig 8 months ago, everything had gone to hell faster than a Christmas bonus in a Vegas casino. The back injury from that blowout had ended my career, and the workers' comp lawyers were dragging their feet while the bills piled up like scrap metal in a junkyard. I'd been taking out loans from places that didn't ask questions, hiding collection calls, watching our bank account drain like a ruptured pipeline. My mother's surgery had been the final nail in the coffin. $82,000 for a procedure that insurance barely touched. I'd been dying inside, and I'd hidden it from Amber because I thought that's what men did. We suffered in silence. We protected our families from the truth. Turns out she'd been protecting me too, just in a way I never could have imagined. "What are you going to do?" Trent asked quietly. "I don't know." And I didn't. Part of me wanted to go home, to hold her, and tell her it would be okay, that we'd figure something else out. The other part, the part that kept replaying the image of her with him, wanted to burn everything down and walk away forever. That night, lying on Trent's couch and staring at my phone, I opened our wedding photos. There we were, 6 years younger, stupid in love, convinced we could handle anything life threw at us. Amber's smile was so bright it hurt to look at. My arm was wrapped around her waist like I'd never let go. I remembered that day clearly. Her father, the man who'd raised her after her real parents died in a car crash when she was 12, had pulled me aside before the ceremony. "She's been through more than most people twice her age," he'd said, his weathered hands gripping my shoulders. "She knows what it's like to lose everything. Don't ever make her feel that way again." I'd promised him I wouldn't, and now here I was, 3 days gone without a word. My thumb hovered over her contact. I could call. I could at least tell her I was alive. But what would I say? That I understood? I didn't. That I forgave her? I couldn't. Not yet. Trent's phone buzzed on the coffee table. He picked it up, read something, and his face went completely white. "Dustin." He turned the screen toward me. "You need to see this." It was a Facebook message from someone named Rachel Martinez. The preview read, "Your friend's wife isn't the first. I need to talk to him about Owen Caldwell." My blood ran cold. Who is that? I don't know, but she says she worked for Caldwell 3 years ago. Trent scrolled through her profile quickly. She's here in Houston, says she has information you need to hear. I sat up, the beer forgotten. The room suddenly felt charged, like the air before a storm hits the Gulf. What kind of information? She didn't say much, just that it's important, that Amber might not have had as much choice as she thinks she did. The room felt smaller, suddenly tighter. I thought about Amber's face when she told me about the pregnancy, the way her hands had shaken, the desperation in her voice when she talked about losing everything. I'd been so focused on my own pain, my own sense of betrayal, that I hadn't stopped to ask the right questions. Why would her boss ask his secretary to have his baby? What kind of man puts an employee in that position? And more importantly, what kind of man makes a woman feel like she has no other choice? "Set up a meeting," I said, standing up. The room spun slightly from the alcohol and 3 days of barely eating, but my head was clearing for the first time since I'd walked out that door. "I want to talk to her." Trent nodded, already typing back. "Tomorrow morning. There's a Waffle House off I-45 near the ship channel, neutral territory." "Good." I grabbed my jacket from the back of his chair. "I need to take a walk, clear my head." "Dustin, it's almost midnight. I need to think." I headed for the door, then stopped. "Thanks, man, for the couch, for listening, for not asking questions I wasn't ready to answer." He nodded. "That's what brothers do." The Waffle House off I-45 smelled like burnt coffee and old grease, the kind of place where offshore workers grabbed breakfast at 4 a.m. before heading to the heliport. I sat in a corner booth, watching the door, my leg bouncing under the table like it used to before safety meetings, when we knew someone was getting fired. Rachel Martinez walked in at exactly 9 a.m. I recognized her from her profile picture, late 30s, professional looking, but with dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't quite hide. She had the same haunted expression I'd seen on too many faces in the unemployment office. "Dustin Crawford?" she asked, sliding into the booth across from me. Her hands were shaking slightly as she clutched her purse. "That's me." I studied her face, looking for answers before she even spoke. "You said you have information about Owen Caldwell." She glanced around the diner nervously, like she was checking for familiar faces. "I was his administrative assistant before your wife, 3 years ago. He made me the same offer he made her." My stomach dropped like an anchor hitting water. "What?" "A baby. He wanted me to carry his child." Her hands were trembling as she wrapped them around the coffee mug the waitress brought over. "I was going through a divorce at the time. My ex-husband had cleaned out our joint accounts, taken everything. I had 2 kids to feed and rent I couldn't pay. Owen knew all of this because I'd broken down crying in his office one day after a particularly nasty call from my lawyer. I felt sick. "What did you do?" I said no. She took a sip of coffee, her eyes distant. "I told him it was inappropriate, that I couldn't do something like that to my family, that I needed to find another way to handle my finances. You know what he did the next day?" I already knew the answer, but I needed to hear her say it. "He fired you." "Worse than that." Rachel's voice hardened, and for a moment I saw the steel that had helped her survive whatever hell Caldwell had put her through. "He blacklisted me, called every contact in the Houston energy sector, told them I'd stolen from the company, that I was mentally unstable and not to be trusted, said I'd made inappropriate advances toward him, and that he'd had to let me go for the safety of other employees." The rage I'd been carrying for 3 days crystallized into something sharper, colder, like the moment when you realize the safety valve on a pressure tank isn't just stuck, it's been welded shut on purpose. "I couldn't get a job anywhere for 18 months, she continued. "Not even as a receptionist at a dentist's office. I lost my apartment. My kids and I lived in my car for 3 weeks until my sister in Oklahoma took us in." "Why didn't you sue him?" She pulled out a folder from her purse and slid it across the table. The papers inside were worn from handling, creased from being folded and unfolded too many times. "I tried, but he's got lawyers who make problems. Disappear faster than evidence after an oil spill. The case got dismissed on technicalities. My lawyer said fighting it would bankrupt me completely, and I'd already lost everything." I opened the folder with hands that weren't quite steady. Inside were documents, emails, text messages, financial records, all pointing to a pattern that made my skin crawl. Owen Caldwell systematically targeting vulnerable women, women who worked for him, women who were desperate enough to consider the unthinkable. "There are others," Rachel said quietly. "At least 3 that I know of for certain. One woman in Dallas gave him a baby 4 years ago. She tried to sue him when he refused to pay the full amount he'd promised. The case never made it to trial. What happened to her? She disappeared before the hearing." The word hung in the air between us like smoke from a refinery fire. Vanished completely. No social media, no forwarding address, nothing. Some people say he paid her off to disappear. Others say... She trailed off, but I caught her meaning. Jesus Christ. There's another one in New Orleans, similar story. Young woman, financial troubles, dead-end job. He offered her what seemed like a lifeline. When she started having second thoughts during the pregnancy, she ended up in the hospital with what the doctors called a stress-induced miscarriage. Very convenient timing. I stared at the documents spread across the table, my coffee growing cold. 3 days ago, my only problem was my wife's betrayal. Now, I was looking at something bigger, darker, more twisted than I'd imagined. This wasn't just about a baby or even about infidelity. This was about a predator who'd found a legal way to exploit desperate women. So, Amber? I ran my hands through my hair, trying to process everything. She didn't really have a choice. He manipulated her. "He's good at finding pressure points," Rachel said. "Really good. He finds women who are married, who have something to lose, who are struggling financially. He makes them feel like they're the solution to his problem, like they're heroes for helping a childless couple. He uses words like respect and trust and family values. And by the time they realize what they've actually agreed to, they're in too deep. I thought about Amber standing in our kitchen, telling me she'd done it because she respected him. That word, respect, it had bothered me from the beginning, had sat wrong in my gut like bad seafood. Now I understood. She hadn't respected him. She'd been terrified of him. Terrified of losing her job. Terrified of watching me break under the weight of our debts. Terrified of losing everything we'd built together. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. Rachel's eyes met mine, and I saw something I recognized. The same determination I'd seen in the eyes of crew chiefs who refused to cut safety corners, even when the company pressed for faster production. "Because your wife is still working for him. Because she's carrying his child. Which means he has power over her for at least 6 more months. And because I couldn't save myself. But maybe I can help save her." She pulled out another document from the bottom of the folder. "This is a list of labor lawyers who specialize in workplace coercion. This one," she pointed to a name circled in red ink, "almost got my case to trial before Caldwell's lawyers buried it under paperwork. He might be willing to help if you can prove a pattern." "I'm a construction worker," I said. "Was a construction worker. I can't afford lawyers who charge more per hour than I used to make in a day." "Then document everything. Record conversations if it's legal in your state. Get Amber to write down exactly what he said to her, how he approached her, what threats he made, even the implied ones. Build a case even if you never use it." I stared at the evidence spread across the table. Rachel had handed me something more valuable than any settlement check. She'd given me the truth, and the truth was that my wife hadn't betrayed me. She'd been hunted, cornered, and manipulated by a predator who'd made it seem like her only choice. "I need to see him," I said suddenly. "I need to confront him." Rachel grabbed my wrist across the table. "Dustin, that's not smart. Men like him, they have security. They have influence. You go in there angry, you'll end up arrested or worse." "I'm not going to hurt him," I pulled away gently. "I just need to look him in the eye and let him know that I see exactly what he is." She sighed, gathering up her papers. "Then, at least bring witnesses. Don't go alone. And Dustin," she touched my arm as we stood to leave, "your wife made a choice under duress, but she made it because she loves you. Don't let your pride destroy what you have left." 2 hours later, I was standing in the lobby of Caldwell Energy Consulting, a glass tower in downtown Houston that screamed money and power, the kind of place where guys like me stood out like oil stains on white marble. I'd spent the drive over planning exactly what I'd say, how I'd keep my anger in check. "I'm here to see Owen Caldwell," I told the receptionist, a young woman who couldn't have been more than 22. She had the same nervous energy I'd seen in Amber lately. "Do you have an appointment? Tell him Dustin Crawford is here. He'll know who I am." She made a call, her expression shifting from professional to uncomfortable. "Mr. Caldwell says he's very busy today. Tell him I know about Rachel Martinez. Tell him I know about Dallas. Tell him I'm not leaving until we talk." 5 minutes later, I was in an elevator heading to the 20th floor. My heart hammered against my ribs like a loose pipe in a storm, but my hands were steady. The elevator doors opened to reveal Amber sitting at the secretary's desk. And for a moment, I forgot why I was there. She looked terrible. She'd lost weight, too much weight, and there were dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide. The pregnancy wasn't showing yet, but the stress was written all over her face. "Dustin, what are you doing here?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "Where is he?" "You can't just—" I walked past her and pushed open the door without knocking. Owen Caldwell sat behind a desk that probably cost more than our car, perfectly groomed in a suit that cost more than 3 months of my old salary. He didn't stand up, didn't even look surprised. If anything, he looked amused. "Mr. Crawford," he said smoothly, leaning back in his leather chair, "I wondered when you'd show up. You manipulated my wife." I closed the door behind me, hearing Amber's sharp intake of breath. I offered her a business arrangement. She accepted. His smile never wavered. Simple economics, really. I had a need. She had a solution. We negotiated terms, all very civilized. "You threatened her job." "I never made any threats, did I, Amber?" He looked past me to where she stood frozen in the doorway. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I saw it then. The fear in her eyes, the way she couldn't look at either of us directly. This man still had power over her, still controlled her future, and he knew it. "She's 3 months pregnant with your child," I said, my voice deadly quiet. "And she's terrified of you. That's not a business arrangement. That's exploitation." Caldwell's smile never wavered. "If you're implying something illegal, Mr. Crawford, I suggest you speak with your lawyer." "Oh, wait. You can't afford one, can you?" That was rather the point. My hands clenched into fists. Every instinct screamed at me to vault over that desk and show him exactly what 12 years on oil rigs had taught me about handling problems. But Rachel's voice echoed in my head. "Be smart about this." "You picked the wrong woman to manipulate," I said instead. "And you definitely picked the wrong husband to mess with." "Is that a threat?" Caldwell reached for his desk phone. "Because I can have security here in 30 seconds. "It's a promise." I turned toward the door, where Amber stood with tears streaming down her face. "You think you're untouchable because you've got money and lawyers, but you made one mistake." "And what's that?" I looked back at him, this predator in an expensive suit who'd nearly destroyed my marriage. "You assumed I'd just walk away and stay away. You don't know much about oil workers, do you? We don't give up when the pressure builds. We find a way to fix the leak." I walked out without another word, taking Amber's hand as I passed. She followed me to the elevator, neither of us speaking until the doors closed. "He's going to fire me," she whispered. "Good. You don't work for him anymore anyway." "Dustin, we can't afford. We'll figure it out. Together this time." I looked at her reflection in the polished steel doors. No more secrets, no more going it alone. From now on, we face everything together. The elevator descended toward the lobby, carrying us away from Owen Caldwell, and toward whatever came next. But as those doors opened and we stepped into the marble lobby, I knew this wasn't over. It took 6 months, but Owen Caldwell's empire came crashing down like a poorly built derrick in a hurricane. The investigation started small, a tip to the Department of Labor about workplace coercion that Rachel and I filed together. But once federal investigators started digging, they found a rot that went deeper than anyone imagined. Turns out, using company resources to manipulate employees into surrogate pregnancies was just the appetizer. The main course was a buffet of financial fraud, tax evasion, and federal contract violations that made my head spin. Caldwell had been skimming money from government consulting contracts for years, hiding it in offshore accounts while his company reported losses to avoid paying taxes. The FBI raid happened on a Tuesday morning. Amber and I watched it on the local news from our new apartment in Humble. A smaller place, but one we could actually afford. 20 agents and windbreakers swarming the glass tower, carrying out boxes of evidence while news crews filmed from the street. "You did this," Amber said quietly, her hand resting on her belly. She was 7 months along now, healthy and glowing despite everything we'd been through. We did this, I corrected. Rachel did this. All those women who finally came forward did this. And they had. Once word got out about the investigation, women started calling the federal tip line, not just from Houston, but from Dallas, New Orleans, even as far away as Denver. The pattern was always the same: vulnerable employees, financial pressure, an offer that seemed too good to refuse, and then a systematic campaign of intimidation for anyone who said no. The woman from Dallas who'd supposedly disappeared, she'd been in witness protection, working with federal prosecutors for 2 years to build a case. The miscarriage in New Orleans turned out to be the result of a suspicious fall down a flight of stairs after the victim started asking too many questions about her contract. Caldwell tried to run when the indictments came down. They caught him at Hobby Airport with a one-way ticket to the Cayman Islands and a suitcase full of cash. Funny how men who destroy other people's lives always think they deserve a second chance themselves. Amber testified before the grand jury. I wasn't allowed in the room, but I waited outside for 3 hours while she told her story to 12 strangers. When she came out, her eyes were red from crying, but her shoulders were straighter than I'd seen them in months. "How do you feel?" I asked. "Free," she said. "For the first time in a year, I feel free." The baby was born, 2 weeks later. A healthy girl with Caldwell's dark hair and her mother's stubborn chin. The adoption went through without any complications. Mrs. Caldwell had filed for divorce and wanted nothing to do with the child that represented her husband's crimes. The baby went to a family in Austin, good people who'd been trying to have children for years through legitimate means. Amber held her for exactly 10 minutes before signing the papers. Long enough to say goodbye, not long enough to change her mind. "Do you think she'll be okay?" she asked me in the hospital parking lot. "She'll be loved," I said. That's more than Caldwell ever gave anyone. We rebuilt our life piece by piece, like reassembling a drilling platform after a storm. I got work with a pipeline company, steady hours and decent pay. Amber started her own bookkeeping business, working from home with clients who actually respected her expertise instead of exploiting her desperation. 2 years later, we had our own baby, a son we named Cole, after my grandfather, who taught me that a man's worth isn't measured by his bank account, but by how he treats the people who depend on him. Sometimes, on quiet Sunday mornings, I watch Cole play in our backyard while Amber tends her garden, and I think about that moment in our old kitchen, when everything split into before and after. The Crawford family that walked out of that kitchen was broken, desperate, and drowning in debt. The Crawford family that exists now is stronger, smarter, and more honest with each other than we ever were before. We learned the hard way that secrets are like gas leaks, invisible, toxic, and explosive if you let them build up too long. Caldwell got 15 years in federal prison. His consulting company was liquidated, the assets distributed among his victims as restitution. Rachel got enough money to finish her nursing degree. The woman from New Orleans bought a house for her and her kids. Amber and I paid off our remaining debts and put the rest in a college fund for Cole. But the best revenge wasn't the money or the justice or even seeing Caldwell's mugshot on the evening news. The best revenge was the life we built afterward. Every Sunday, barbecue with Trent and his new wife. Every birthday party for Cole in our own backyard. Every night, Amber and I fall asleep in our own bed, in our own house, with our own son sleeping safely down the hall. The oil industry taught me that pressure builds until something gives way. Sometimes that's catastrophic. Blowouts, explosions, disasters that make the national news. But sometimes, if you're smart about it, you can control the release. Channel that pressure into something useful, something that builds instead of destroys. Owen Caldwell thought he could pressure my wife into submission, pressure me into walking away, pressure all of us into silence. What he didn't understand is that pressure, properly channeled, can power entire cities. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, it can power a second chance at the life you almost lost. The rigs are hiring again. Oil's back up over $60 a barrel, and they need experienced supervisors. Part of me thinks about going back offshore, making that money again. But then Cole runs up to me, dirt on his knees and wonder in his eyes, and I remember what really matters. Some battles you fight with your fists. Others, you fight by refusing to let them break you. Amber and I chose the second kind. And in the end, that was the sweetest revenge of all. Being happy despite everything Owen Caldwell tried to take from us.